Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Jack. Thanks for joining me for this video. I am continuing on this playlist focusing on how to go about weight loss appropriately and therefore permanently. In the process of doing this, there is a lot of education on nutrition as it is, and it is the foundation of nourishing versus poisoning your body. I wanted to do this video because I have been getting quite a few questions about what diet is suggested, and in particular questions about the keto diet or a ketogenic diet. So I figured I'd do a video comparing the keto diet to what my research has shown to be the suggested diet to adhere to, and that is the Mediterranean diet. We'll start off by covering the details on both of these diets and close by a comparison and discuss which one is perhaps better for you. So join me and let's get started. To begin with, the Mediterranean diet is more of a lifestyle than a diet. It focuses on the traditional eating habits of people living in countries surrounding the Mediterranean Sea. So people in countries like Italy and Greece have been eating like this all their lives, but it wasn't until the 1960s that researchers began to notice that these people were healthy, especially when compared to the average Westerner. This was particularly noticeable in things like heart disease and cancer. The focus is on consuming a lot of fruits and vegetables, fish as well as seafood. You also focus on foods like beans, legumes, tasty herbs, spices, nuts, cheese, yogurt, whole grains, and healthy fats that we have discussed before on this channel. They stay away from added sugars and processed foods, in particular refined carbohydrates. And if you watched my previous video, you understand why this type of food is the basis of why we have an obesity epidemic in the United States. They consume red meat, but in limited quantities. Meals are often accompanied by a nice glass of red wine, and in general, the populations are pretty physically active. The focus is also on a diet high in omega-3 fatty acids from things like olive oil, nuts, and fatty fish like salmon, as well as concentrating on antioxidants and polyphenols. All of this leads to a decrease in inflammation, and inflammation has been directly linked to things like cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and yes, obesity. All of this was discussed in my chronic inflammation video and why it is associated with so much chronic disease, as well as what you can do about it. There was a meta-analysis study published in 2019 in the Journal of Nutrients that showed how the Mediterranean diet leads to improved outcomes for cardiovascular disease, obesity, metabolic syndrome, and type 2 diabetes. Other studies have shown how it decreases the risk of some cancers, Alzheimer's disease, and increasing your lifespan as well. There was a 2018 study in the New England Journal of Medicine that compared the Mediterranean diet to a low-fat diet. And in that study, for people that were at risk of diabetes and heart disease, they had reduced the rates of heart attack and stroke by simply supplementing their diet with olive oil or nuts. Fiber is also plentiful in the Mediterranean diet. We discussed how fiber is so important to our gut biome, or the good bacteria within our bodies, to prevent all sorts of health issues, especially things like leaky gut syndrome. Things like fruits, veggies, beans, and whole grains serve as prebiotics to help feed the good bacteria within the gut. The disadvantages of the Mediterranean diet are the lack of structure. So some people may find it difficult to follow. It can also be time-consuming for meal preparation, as well as pretty expensive, as things like seafood is obviously not cheap. However, there are ways to keep costs down, as one can eat things like tuna or sardines, which are very healthy and full of omega-3 fatty acids. The same lack of structure can actually be an advantage as well. There are no restrictions or calorie counting, and those of you that follow the channel know that calorie counting does not work to begin with. People are also more likely to adhere to this lifestyle long-term because it is not so restrictive or regimented as it is nutritionally sound and has diverse foods and flavors. In my research for this video, I came across this great organization founded by Mr. Gifford called Old Ways. In 1990, he founded it. He created a nonprofit advocacy organization to research and promote a harmony of traditional food patterns, sustainable culture, and healthy eating and drinking. The website has a consumer-friendly Mediterranean diet pyramid that offers suggestions on how to eat the Mediterranean way, and I highly suggest checking out the website if you're so interested. Next, let us talk about the keto or a ketogenic diet. It was researched in the 1920s, and it was originally for the treatment of hard-to-control seizures in children. There's also evidence it may benefit those with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease. You can lose weight quite quickly under this diet. Its main focus is on low carbohydrate intake. You restrict your carb intake while eating a moderate amount of protein and consuming plenty of healthy fatty foods. You should know that there are different versions of the keto diet, but the overall theme is similar. It suggests that you consume about 70 to 80% of your total calories from fat, 5 to 10% from carbohydrate, and 10 to 20% from protein. When your intake of carbohydrates is low, the body starts to break down fat for energy over time through a process called ketosis. This is done through the liver, turning the fat into what's called ketones. These ketones are then used for energy by your body. During this drastic change, some people may experience something called the keto flu, which feels like an actual flu. More on this in a bit later when we compare the two diets, but many people jump in and out of this diet for a month at a time, as it can be hard to sustain in the long run. So how does one know if you have entered ketosis? Well, you can get a urine or blood test done. You can also have signs and symptoms like a fruity smell to your breath, decreased hunger. You may feel more mentally sharp, along with weight loss. The focus is on foods like eggs, fish, meat, oils, cheese, butter, cream, nuts, seeds, and low carbohydrate vegetables. They actually avoid some of the foods in the Mediterranean diet, such as grains, beans, fruits, most dairy, and higher carbohydrate vegetables, as all of this can increase your daily carbohydrate allowance. It can be delicious for some people depending on your taste buds. Instead of lean cuts of meat, you will be eating the juicy ribeye steak and that nice piece of chicken leg or chicken breast. Be sure not to tear off the skin. You actually want to leave the skin on the chicken, and you can even snack on things like bacon dipped in mayonnaise if you wanted to. If in the process you get a craving for sweets, you can eat things like dark chocolate and nut butter. The disadvantages of the keto diet are that it is more regimented and therefore harder to maintain long term. There is also some concern for consuming such a high-fat, low-carb diet. Another potential concern is that with the keto diet, you are consuming large amounts of meat. There are no long-term studies on the keto diet, but eating lots of red meat and processed meats can lead to an increased risk of colon cancer and heart disease. Also, because the keto diet focuses on reducing carbohydrates, it cuts out lots of plant-based foods such as fruits, vegetables, legumes, and whole grains. These food groups have been shown to reduce inflammation and provide a whole range of health benefits. Although if you are on a paleo diet, I'm sure you can make the argument differently for things like legumes and whole grains. That is perhaps for another discussion. In the keto diet, you avoid starchy vegetables like corn, carrots, turnips, parsnips, and sweet potatoes due to their carbohydrate content. In the process, you may find new foods you've never heard of, or at least I haven't heard of them until I started doing this research, like low starchy veggies named kohlrabi, which is just a German turnip, and daikon, which is Japanese for quote-unquote big root, and it is simply a type of radish. The pros are that you can see weight loss very quickly with this diet. You will see your blood sugar drop and therefore decrease insulin sensitivity, which we have discussed numerous times before as the main culprit in weight gain. Like the Mediterranean diet, you don't need to count calories since it does not work. Since the focus is on eating plenty of fat, this leads to a feeling of satiety or fullness, and by eating more proteins, you will suppress your appetite and get a boost to your metabolism, which all leads to decreased caloric intake and hence weight loss. People that are on the keto diet suppress ghrelin, which is the hormone that tells your brain that you are hungry. We've talked about this hormone in numerous videos before in this playlist. This is the same hormone that increases when people calorie count and starve themselves to try and lose weight. You can only fight that hunger urge for so long, and you'll eventually end up giving in to the urge, but their metabolism has been reset to a lower level indefinitely. Therefore, they eat less and still gain weight. If you're looking to start with the keto diet, it's important for you to get familiar with what good fats are, as well as low carbohydrate vegetables. With both the Mediterranean and keto diet, you want to also learn about all the hidden sources of sugar out there, as both of them focus on little to no sugar, as any good diet should. This by itself requires significant discipline, as real and fake sugar is absolutely in everything. Some form of added sugar is found in over 60% of the products in the grocery stores, so read those food labels. Because you're stopping sugar abruptly with these diets, you may find that you crave sugar and go through sugar withdrawal. That's why having things like dark chocolate with nut butter on hand can actually help with these cravings. The other withdrawal effect, especially with the keto diet, is carbohydrate withdrawal. You may find that in the first week, you may experience symptoms like headaches, muscle aches, hunger, fatigue, and brain fog. To fight the hunger, you can nibble on high-fat snacks like bacon or perhaps a cucumber with some mayonnaise on it with avocado. Fat, fat, fat is the focus with that diet. The goal is to get to the second or third week as these symptoms start to subside at that time. So how do these two diets compare? To begin with, if you want to explore these diets and don't know where to start, you can check out this great chart. It compares what you can and cannot eat under each diet, and it will be linked below in the description to make things easier for you. The Mediterranean diet is consistently voted the best diet, and the keto diet is consistently voted to be one of the worst. The U.S. News and World Report ranks diets annually, and in 2021, for the 4th year in a row, the Mediterranean diet was named overall the best diet. This was out of 39 different eating strategies. It is made up of a panel of nutritionists and specialists in diabetes, weight loss, and heart disease. They considered things like nutritional content, how easy it was to stay on the diet, potential for long-term and short-term weight loss, safety, and possible side effects of the diet, as well as the potential to prevent things like heart disease and diabetes. Overall, the suggested meal plans at the top were high in fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and healthy fats. Now, if you want to test these diets out and don't mind spending a little bit of money on a few meals, there are meal services that can ship food to your door for both of these diets. For Mediterranean meals, it can run $7 to $13 per meal, and keto diet can range anywhere from $9 to $22 per meal. You can easily do a search on the internet for these various services if you're interested. Overall, the way to think about these two diets is that the keto diet is the sprinter. You see results quickly with the keto diet. The Mediterranean diet is more of the marathon runner, slow and steady to see results, and in my opinion is more sustainable long term, as it is not as strict when compared to, say, the keto diet. As far as safety, the Mediterranean diet is considered safe for everyone, including kids and the elderly. The keto diet does warrant some precaution given its very high fat content. Those with liver or kidney conditions may want to consult their healthcare provider before starting such a diet. Of course, it goes without saying, but staying physically active and getting exercise while undergoing these diets is key as well. Not just to lose weight, but for overall health and wellness. Do be careful, as sometimes making drastic changes to your diet can make you dizzy, and so suddenly physically exerting yourself considerably can lead perhaps to syncopal episodes or passing out and the risk of falls. So I hope you found this video helpful. I hope that you have found this entire playlist I'm doing helpful as well. Please let me know below in the comments. I read all of them. Let me know if you would like to see me continue doing these videos on nutrition and how to nourish our bodies. Personally, I have really enjoyed researching this content and present it to you all, or y'all, as we would say in the South. However, I am happy to look into other topics that may benefit folks. And so let me know. And as always, please like, subscribe, and share any and all of my videos if you think someone can benefit from the content. So till next time, take care. Bye-bye. Pura Vida.